Washington, D.C., now the Waldorf Astoria. We own the second largest hotel company in America. It's now being run by an African-American man. All because people like Brenda had the audacity to decide to lead a city with a convention and visitors bureau. And so, when you look at the awardees today, just think of the journey. It's not over, it's a beginning. But think more important that it's like a flashlight into the future. All they've done in that sea of despair and darkness, they've turned the light on for you to follow. You know, I used to think a long time ago when you took an airplane, I used to try to figure out how they got from Kingston to Miami, from Los Angeles to Atlanta. And they had a path. The National Association of Black Hotel Owners, Black Meetings and Tourism will create that path, that flashlight that you can all follow. So please, lunch is going to be served now. We bless the food. Thank you, Reverend Deacon Wiggins. Please, let's serve lunch. We'll be back shortly to start the awards. Thank you once again. Thanks for attending. Huh?
Ladies and gentlemen, let us welcome to the stage Mr. Solomon Herbert, the publisher and editor-in-chief of Black Meetings and Tourism magazine, who will be introducing our keynote speaker for this afternoon. He is being joined by his lovely wife, Gloria. Oh.
Well, first of all, I want to thank Andy for getting these stairs and these handrails, which I asked him to get because I know last year he had to help me up. But thank you all for being here. We are going to introduce our keynote speaker, Melonie Johnson. We're so proud of her. I just really met her very recently, but she's my new best friend. And I just think she is such a role model for our industry and for people to follow in her footsteps. So I'm going to ask her to please come to the stage, please.
Good afternoon, and thank you so much. It's such an honor to be here with you guys today, and it's overwhelming for me because I never see myself outside of being Melonie Ducré Johnson. And the one thing that I was taught early on in life is that never lose sight of who you are. You got to be true to yourself, and you can't allow yourself to get lost into other people's conversations, other people's perceptions of what you should be. So I'd like to tell you a little bit about who I am in my journey. My journey is no different from the average African American who's made it, because we don't come from generational worth. Because of our history, where we are, we have humble beginnings. I grew up in the Deep South, and I have two Louisiana friends, new friends right now, that are sitting right here in the audience. I am from a small town north of New Orleans. It's called Lacombe, Louisiana. It was a predominantly Creole and Choctaw Indian community at that particular time. We had fishing, some farming, and then there was a couple of sawmills that were there, and of course it was owned by the white affluent family. So I grew up on a family street, and we were taught that we might have been poor, but we were rich in love. Everything that we had, we valued it. I grew up with my cousins, my aunts, my uncles. If you did something wrong at your grandmother's house, got your butt beat there, and probably twice before you got home. And then you got another beating when you got home, because that truly was spare the rod and spoil the child. I got a fair enough of those butt whippings. My dad never did, but my mom made up for it. Because there's only one person in this world that I was afraid of, and that was that lady up until she died a year ago. So education was really important to us. So it was about making good grades. So the competition for me was being the smartest person that I could be. Fast forward a little bit, go to Mandeville High School in Mandeville, Louisiana, which was a predominantly white high school, public, but white. I decided early on, and I don't know why, I knew that I wanted to do something with my life. I just didn't know how to do it. And I thought if I went to a predominantly white college, that would pave the way for me. Because when I went on a job interview, Melonie Ducré, she graduated from Mandeville High. She graduated with a Bachelor's of Science in Accounting from the University of New Orleans. Melonie on paper is white. In those days, somebody that looked like me, you weren't getting that job. Got a lot of invitations, lots of invitations to go through those doors. I walked in, and I'm sure many of you guys know the look. You walk in the door and it goes, oh God, she's black. And I saw it so much, and it was deflating. But I'm strong, and I don't like people to tell me what I can and cannot do. As soon as you tell me what I can't do, I'm going to find a way to do it, unless I don't want to do it and I don't care enough about it. So I ended up, I tell this story all the time. I needed a job so bad, bad because I was going to be, I was going to have to live with my mom and my dad for the rest of my life, and hell no, that wasn't happening. My mom told me I could stay there as long as I wanted to, and I said, Mama, before I live with you and Daddy for the rest of my life, I'd rather pitch a tent under an oak tree, eat acorns, and drink water out the ditch. And that's a true story because I wanted to get out. With my mom, most black mothers don't allow you to be adults, and that's why I really wanted to get out of the house. So, had to find a job, and I find this employment agency. It was called Snelling and Snelling. They located a job for me in Metairie, Louisiana. God, it was an hour commute each way, so 2 hours round trip, paying toll tags, and I made a whopping $9,600 a year. I thought I was rich. Did. But I had to pay them $960 for that job. So literally, I bought my first job. And I'm very proud of it. I have no regrets about that because you do what you have to do. I went to that job, and I did the best that I could. My dad always said, keep your head down and work hard, work hard, work hard. I didn't know any better because I'm starting this job. I'm 21 years old. I lived in a small community. I didn't have sponsors. I didn't have mentors. So I was trying to navigate the waters on my own. But navigating those waters on my own, I found out that I wasn't doing the right thing. So I had to think, I had to study, and I realized I wasn't intentional, and I didn't have a strategy. So I sat there, I always brainstorm, I talk to myself, and I play a what-if game. What if this happens? What are you going to do? What if this happens? What are you going to do? So I decided I needed sponsors. So I partnered with the people who were well-respected, the ones who had authority, and the one who could help me navigate my future. I also studied because we as black women, all too often, if we're confident, it's perceived as being cocky. If we're assertive, it's assumed that we're aggressive. And if we're emotional, God knows, we are that angry black woman. And I did not want to be that angry black woman. I didn't want people to be afraid of me. I wanted people to work with me. So learning how to navigate those waters, I wasn't afraid to leave a job. I left one job, went to another job, went to another job. And it was deflating because I was the only black person there. Literally, there were no African Americans working at any of those companies early on in my year. So was it nerve-wracking? Was I intimidated? Yes, I felt all of those things, but I was taught when you walked out in public at an early age, it's like we might be poor, but we're going to be clean, we're going to have class, and they're going to think we've got $2 million when we don't have 2 pennies to rub together. So I learned to fake it until I made it. But the big start for me, I was working for this oil and gas company, and fortunately enough, I do want to step back a little bit. I'd like to share this story. I went to work for this oil and gas company, and once again, the only black person that's working there. So I'm going, okay, who are the smartest people? Who are the movers and shakers? This is who I'm going to partner with because they're going to take me along for the ride. So I started doing this, got hired in, and the person who hired me when he was leaving, he said, Melonie, I want to tell you this story. I go, Raymond, what's the story? And he said, when I interviewed you, you were overqualified for this job. And he said, because none of these people were degreed, and they were calling them accountants, and you were the only one that had a degree. And he said, I interviewed you, and I knew you were the right person for this job. But I knew if I told my boss that you were black, you wouldn't get a second interview. So I surprised him. And you came in for that second interview. And he said, you blew him away. And he said, she's the one. And he said, you can hire if you want to. I'm not going to put my name on her because when she fails, it's on you. And then he said 6 months later, a year later, because you worked hard, you learned really fast, everybody wanted you in their department. So fast forward, company goes into bankruptcy. I got lazy. I got comfortable in this job, and you should never sit there and get comfortable because I had my accounting degree. I was working at this company, young and dumb, thinking I'm going to retire from that company. Company goes not only into bankruptcy, but Chapter 7. And I'm going, God, I don't have a job. What am I going to do? I only have a bachelor's of science, and I'm working with people that have the same degree plus an MBA or a CPA or both. So that was an eye-opening experience for me where I said, if you want better, you got to do better. You can't just sit there and get too comfortable and not be aware of your surroundings. So I ended up getting my CPA degree, landed a job at the casino in New Orleans. It was Harrah's Casino at that time. Drove in for an interview. I was interviewing for the position of financial analyst. When I got into the job interview, they were talking about the manager of financial accounting and reporting. So I just pretended like I was there for that interview. I literally did, and my heart was racing. I'm getting so excited, going, damn, this is the manager's job. I don't know if I can do it, but I go, everybody else thinks they can, so I'm going to do it too. I landed the job. I didn't know how to do that job. I did not know how to do that job. My first week, it was so funny. I went to the director, and I said, hi. I said, I've got a proposal for you. And she goes, what's that? I said, I'm new to this industry because gaming just got to Louisiana. So how about if I do a road trip for 2 weeks, and you send me on to our different properties and have me partner with the best managers and directors of finance so I can build a network. And that's how I learned to navigate that job. I faked it, I made it, and I never felt uncomfortable after that because I'm going, you can do anything that you want to do. It requires a lot of work, a whole lot of work, because when I say I worked, I worked. The director of finance job became available, and they were hem-hawing. I wanted that job so bad, so I just started doing the job, and I pretended like I was a director. And my two supervisors, the exact word, and I remember when she told me this, she goes, damn, Melonie, these people think you're the director of finance. I go, because I am. And she said, but they're not paying you to do this. I said, but they will. The money will follow. I'm not chasing the dollars right now. I'm chasing the title and the opportunity, and the money will follow me, which it did. So then I realized, because at this point, being a mother of three, a wife, having a career, it's tough. It's really tough navigating this. And when I coach young people today, I tell them, I said, what you got to look at is everything is not for everybody. And you got to decide what you want, because there are going to be sacrifices that you're going to make the higher up you go. And that sacrifice won't be your job. It will be your family. I was a mother first and foremost, so the highest I could go in Louisiana was to be a director, and I knew that. But I was okay with that. I had to get my 3 children into college, get them stable, make sure they were comfortable, because I knew I would be young enough to spread my wings and fly once they were taken care of and in college. And that's exactly what I did. So in 2006, it was almost like an episode of the Beverly Hillbillies. That moving truck came, I packed up my shit, I left. And I never looked back. And life has gotten better and better and better. But what I have learned on this journey is I truly believe that God has put me in a position for a reason, and that is to help others. My legacy is not going to be Melonie had this title or Melonie did this. I'm thinking about all of the young people that I have helped move to manager, director, vice presidents, and all of these accolades that they're getting, and they're still reaching out to me, because I look at myself as a mama bear right now. Because I tell them, if you're having any problems, I'm only a phone call away. You call me, and I promise you, I will help you. Now, you may not like what I tell you, because I'm a straight shooter, and I'm not going to pull any punches. When you're wrong, I'm going to tell you you're wrong, but I'm going to help you navigate the waters. I'm going to help you balance this out. It's about giving back, giving back, giving back. People ask me right now, Melonie, how does it feel to be a black woman, the first black woman, to be a property president for MGM Resorts International, and the only one? I said, I don't think about it like this. I'm qualified. These people are lucky to have me, because what I provide on a day-to-day basis and what I'm doing to promote diverse candidates, to get diverse candidates in this position. Nobody in our corporation has done more than I have done. My property in Maryland, MGM National Harbor, is the feeder property for the Las Vegas Strip, where I'm sending my talent out there. Vice President of Casino Operations, Vice President of Hospitality, Vice President of Food and Beverage, Director of Marketing, Director of Hotels. I look at, these are my babies that are going on the Las Vegas Strip, and now we're grooming that next generation. I sit back and I think a lot about what's most important to me. What's most important to me on a day-to-day basis is giving back. Giving back to my family, giving back to my team, who I love, and giving back to my community. And that makes me feel whole. None of this is for me. God did not put me on this earth to keep all of this close to my vest and do it just for me, to have self-satisfaction. Because just as much as he gave it to me, he can take it away like this. Tomorrow is not guaranteed. Years ago, this young woman asked me, she said, "Melonie, are you happy?" And I stopped and I thought about it. She said, "If you're thinking that long, you're not." I literally thought when I was younger, if I make this amount of money, I'm going to be this happy. Well, I wasn't. If I make this amount of money, I'm going to be this happy. Well, I wasn't. And I had to rethink the way I thought about life and what was more important. It wasn't money. It was about feeling good inside, knowing that I was blessed, that I had health, happiness, knowing that my kids were happy, my extended family was happy. If I did not have the extended family who loved me the way that they do and were as healthy as they were, I would have never been able to pursue a career the way that I did, because a village helped me raise my 3 kids. So the way I look at things right now, life is easy for me. And if God calls me home tonight or tomorrow and he goes, "Melonie, are you happy?" Yes, I am happy. I'm happy. I'm fulfilled. I'm doing what I'm supposed to do. I'm giving back. I feel good. When I wake up in the mirror and I look there, I like what I see. I never saw myself as Melonie, the property president. I'm Melonie. I'm a friend. I'm a daughter. I'm a sister. I'm a colleague. I'm a mother. I'm a wife. I'm all of those things, and that's what makes me full. Anyone can come in and do this job. The company can decide they're going to downsize tomorrow, but you know what? I'll walk away, head up high, pride intact, knowing that I did the best that I could do every day. So what I would like to extend to, if there's young people in this crowd, don't lose yourself to a career. You gotta have that balance. I lost myself. Literally, when my daughter started driving at 16 years old, she goes, "Mom, you have no friends." I go, "What are you talking about, girl? I have friends." And she goes, "You don't. When I'm not here and you won't need me," she said, "when you won't need me as much, you're gonna be lonely." So she was right. She drove off and I'm going, she's right. I focused so much on career and family, I didn't take time for Melonie. So when I did find a friend, I called her up, I go, "Hey, got a friend." And she started laughing, but don't lose sight of that. There's gotta be a happy medium. I look at young people right now when we're talking, and all they want to talk about is work. When I go, "What do you do for fun? Tell me a fun fact about you." Because who wants to be around somebody that just talks about work all the time? I don't, because I call it wine o'clock. When I'm off and we're at the lobby bar, I want to have a drink, and I want to talk about fun stuff. I don't want to just talk about what we're doing, what's the next job we're going to do. There's a place and a time for that, but you've got to have entertainment. And I'm going to take this from MGM Resorts International. Entertainment is not extracurricular. It's fundamental in the human life, and what we do is we entertain the human race. So thank you, guys. I could talk all day. I am from Louisiana, and we don't stop. But I am so happy to be here, and like I said, take time, smell the roses. You know what? You're going to fall. But recover with style. Pick yourself up. It doesn't matter what happened yesterday. You can't yet change yesterday. You can make changes today and tomorrow. So thank you guys so much. It's been an honor and a privilege to speak to you guys today.
A very special thank you to Melonie Johnson, our keynote speaker. And now it's time for the BM&T Apex Awards for Distinguished Service. They are annually presented by Black Meetings and Tourism magazine to a select number of individuals who have made outstanding contributions in their particular fields of endeavor and have positively impacted travel and tourism.
Thank you very much, Melonie, for sharing your experiences with us. That was very, valuable and inspiring information. Thank you.
Great, thank you. Don't you just love Melonie? That's a story, if ever there is a story that inspires, really. And Connie, my dear, so many of you are our industry children. When we look at you, I must tell you, Jason, Moncheray, Dr. D, all of you, your success is what honors us. So we thank you. Please continue as you are. We thank you so much. Well, we're here again. So this time around, Andy, would you please come join us? This is our time to acknowledge the outstanding contributions that have been made by people of color, not just people of color, very honestly, but people like you in this industry. You have truly made the difference. I think we started this maybe 20 years ago, and as Solomon said earlier in his comments, rather than perhaps bring such a dark shadow to what has not been done and what is not being done in this industry, we decided to shine a light and let's say what is great about it. And what we found was there was a lot. And what we found you. So for our first recipient is a extraordinary human being. And Solomon, would you like to, Chantal, would you start making your way? Oh, I'm so sorry. We're supposed to be cued on the screen, so I better try to follow technology. Yes, Chantal. Chantal, would you make your way up? And not to be redundant, you have her bio in your program, but I would just tell you from a personal point of view that as we have watched so many of you grow, this young woman has really made an impact in a very short time. And I'm going to ask Solomon if he'll just say one comment about her, and we'll present her with her award.
Well, you've heard us mention several times during the course of the conference that there are only 10 or 11 Black CVB presidents. Well, this is one of them, and we're so proud of her. She has been around for a while. She's been in different destinations in Trinidad and other places, but she is now the president and CEO in East Point, and we're very proud of her, and we're very honored to be able to acknowledge her and her work.
Thank you, Saul. Good afternoon. I am deeply honored and grateful to accept this Multicultural Tourism Award that's presented to us by us, and that means a lot. This definitely is recognition. This recognition is a testament to the power of embracing diversity and fostering inclusivity in the world of travel. I extend my heartfelt appreciation to NABHOOD, Black Meetings in Tourism, and all of the other organizations for acknowledging the importance of promoting diversity in tourism and continually supporting and recognizing us. I want to express my gratitude to the countless individuals and communities and organizations who came before me and worked tirelessly to create opportunities and pave the way for so many of us in this exciting and competitive industry where we are few at the helm, as Solomon just mentioned, and in the numbers we heard today, but many that make a measurable impact. And just like Melonie, I walked into, well, before walking into, you heard Chantal Ross Francois, and they didn't think that was a brown person. And even by phone, I could say, bonjour, je m'appelle Chantal, oui, ça va? And then when I showed up, it was, ah, okay. So we had to go the extra mile and prove that point and, you know, make it happen. And I'm proud to say that the people that we are, we're able to do that. Right, Melonie? So let's continue to break down barriers and bridge divides, like Connie mentioned, and celebrate the unique tapestry of cultures that make our world an awe-inspiring place to explore. I want to thank you for this incredible honor, and I thank God for his grace on my journey, because again, if not for him, I would not be here. And I asked as a child growing up to bless me so I can bless others. And he's truly, I believe, done that. And it is, you know, my commitment to advance the cause of multicultural tourism and make it accessible to all while creating opportunities that ensure that we are seen. So I want to thank, first of all, again, my husband that's with me today and my son that's visiting from Canada for their patience and their love, for the long nights and the travel, and for always having to take that call, because as Melonie, again, keep referring back to you because I see the similarities so much. It's a sacrifice. And without them, I could not be here. So thank you all.
Okay. Mike Jackson unfortunately could not be here, but Mike sent a video acceptance speech, so I think we're going to play that now.
Let's go. I'm truly honored and humbled to accept this prestigious award. The depth of gratitude and fulfillment that I feel is indescribable. I extend a heartfelt appreciation to BMNT and the selection committee for acknowledging my contributions. This recognition not only signifies a personal achievement, but also serves as a beacon of inspiration to others. Throughout my journey, I've had the privilege of being counseled and mentored by many in the industry. Their guidance and wisdom have shaped me to become the professional I am today. While it's impossible to name everyone, please know that each of you has a part in my heart. Once again, I'd like to express my deepest gratitude to all who have supported me along this remarkable journey. Let's continue to strive for excellence and support each other.
Well, our next awardee has been a trailblazer in so many ways. She continues to be an inspiration. Brenda, would you just start making your way to the podium, please? She continues to be an inspiration. Please forgive me, Brenda. I guess I need 2 pairs of glasses. So we're going to do Melonie, you're next. You've already heard her story, so I'm just going to let her come up and let her light shine. She has done things that we didn't even know about, so she's quite amazing.
I think I've talked enough for one day. Thank you very much.
Okay. Cliff Hamilton also could not be here, but he did send a representative to accept his award. So would that representative please come to the stage? All right. Well, I guess they're not here. Well then, Andy, being that you're from the region too, would you accept this award in this?
Oh, absolutely. Cliff is a Bahamian.
Well,
Yeah, absolutely. No question.
he's from Trinidad.
But no, wait a minute, no. Cliff is a Bahamian. Thank you. Been confirmed.
Okay.
But yeah, I'm happy to accept this award on behalf of my friend Cliff Hamilton. Cliff is a Bahamian now working in Trinidad, and we wish him well. Thank you.
Hi, Lyndon, are you in the audience? Please come forward. Again, not to be redundant, these people sent us their bios, which were read like manuscripts. They've accomplished so much in an amazingly short period of time. But I tell you, it's such an honor to recognize Lyndon for the remarkable work that he's done. He is an inspiration to us, even at this point in our lives, and we thank him so much for his work.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. It is both an honor and a privilege to be here today. I have devoted my life so far, and I don't anticipate any changes, God willing, to delivering safe, reliable, and efficient air transportation in and around the Caribbean. It is a wonderful feeling to have those efforts recognized and appreciated. For me, this journey started out in pursuit of a very personal need for air travel. Today, we are filling the travel needs of many citizens, residents, and visitors across 28 cities and 18 countries in the Caribbean. While I'm here, supported by my daughter, who I'm proud to say has completed her education and just come home to join me, getting here and being able to deliver the service we do every day requires the hard work and dedication of many more that are not here today, but are equally responsible for the success of the airline. I accept this award for them as much as for myself. In closing, I wish to give thanks to God, my family, our employees, friends, and well-wishers. I wish to also say thanks to BM&T, the promoters of this event, for recognizing our small contribution to a region in many ways absolutely depend on the services that we provide. Many thanks indeed.
Santiago, I'm not sure, is he in the house yet?
I think he was coming, so Santiago. Tampa has a bunch of campers in town today, so he had to keep an eye on them.
Well, he's the president and CEO of the Tampa Bay
Convention and
Convention and Visitors Bureau, and he's just been a real strong advocate for the African American market. He has Sherry Brown and some other folks there at his bureau, that he has made sure that they're been promoted to upper echelon positions. He's just been a good friend to the market. So hopefully he'll get here before the luncheon is over, and we can move on to the next.
Next slide. Next slide. Rena.
Accepting on Rena's behalf today is Celeste Jones, National Sales, Caesars Entertainment.
Thank you. Thank you for representing Rena. Rena's based at Caesars in Las Vegas, and we totally need to recognize Caesars and honor the work that they're doing in this market. Unlike a number of other hotel brands, I must say, they have really tried to make the difference, reached out to this market, and we thank them. We thank Rena, and we thank you for accepting on her behalf.
Gonna come over here.
No, on behalf of Rena and all of Caesars Entertainment, I'm humbled to be here and part of all of their recipients, and just amazed by your stories and your continuous success. So I applaud all of you. But no, thank you for the honor, and I'm humbled to be here. Thank you.
Okay, Sheila Neal is with the Visit Detroit. She's I think she's been there for something like 25 years. She's been a real strong, again, a strong supporter of this market. I got a call from Sheila earlier today that there was a conflict that she wasn't able to get here. So we're going to accept the award on her behalf and get it to her. But we just wanted to acknowledge her and honor her because of all the fine work that she's done over the years. Yes, and on her behalf, Dr. Dennis Rogers is going to accept.
Did anyone know Sheila Neal? Raise your hand. Has anyone ever visited Detroit? Raise your hand. Has anyone ever driven a General Motors car? Raise your hand. Seen the Detroit Lions play on television? And those who are from Detroit, they greet each other and they say, "What up, though? What up, though?" So on behalf of Sheila and all the wonderful people out of Detroit, we'd like to accept this award. On a personal note, there was a Detroit gentleman who found me, who said, "You need to go back to school." He paid my tuition to go to Howard University. And for all those people, all those people out of Detroit, I'm sure that Sheila serviced them the way he serviced me, thinking of what was in my best interest, the way she probably thought about what was in Detroit's best interest. So on her behalf, thank you so much for this award.
And with that, ladies and gentlemen, that concludes the awards presentations. Sheila Neal was our last awardee, and we are
Thankfully, we do a better job at publishing than producing an award show, but we have a lot of help from our friends. So I probably jumped the gun because I was just so anxious to get my dear sister acknowledged. But Brenda, come on, please. There's so much to say about her. Again, as I said, it was very challenging, even as an editor, to edit the bios for these individuals. They have done such amazing things. Brenda, going back a few years like we do. She was, of course, the first African-American woman to head a Visitors and Convention Bureau. We're standing on her shoulders, all of us. Come on. I need to make some additional comments about this because this is a very special award. You can see I'm still functioning in a different area here. For the first time, actually, this year, Black Meetings in Tourism is pleased to recognize individuals like Brenda, as I say, who have an extraordinary track record, who go beyond what our usual criteria is for at least 2 years of distinguished service. Again, Brenda probably brings maybe 30 years like we do. Plus, okay, and we're plus. So this year, as you know, we are entering into a launch for the 250th anniversary of America, which is called the Semi-Quincentennial. And for that, as a part of that, we have decided to recognize individuals in the travel industry who have contributed what we think is so amazing that it deserves a special kind of a distinction. So Brenda's one of the first recipients of our Black America 250 Semi-Quincentennial Award in the industry of travel. Brenda, it's a pleasure.
Thank you. That's all right. That's all right. Well, first of all, good afternoon, everyone. What a pleasure it is to be here, giving all honor and glory to God for blessing me always in life and in my journey. I have to tell you that I am the first, but with the first comes a lot of responsibility. I have to not only represent, but I have to show up, and speak out. And that's what I pledged to do when I became the first CEO of a Convention and Visitors Bureau in Mobile, Alabama. Just think about it. Mobile, Alabama. Who would have thought? But God in his wisdom places us always where we need to go and where we need to be. And so I accepted not only the position that they offered me, but I accepted the blessings of God and the grace of God to do the job in Mobile and to represent all of my wonderful colleagues in this industry. We have a wonderful dynamic industry, and I've always been passionate about it. From the time I've had my very first job in Tucson, Arizona, again, Tucson, Arizona, 2% Black, all right? I had a 20 years in banking before I actually entered the tour and travel industry. And when I entered it as a director of membership for the Tucson CVB. And I'm sharing this story because I want these young people out here to understand the sky is the limit. And the only thing that keeps us back is our attitude and our lack of faith in God, who is going to order your steps every single step. And so what I did, I went to the CVB. I was there for a year as the director of membership and partnerships and community relations. And I told the CEO at that time, who was Patrick Tierney, that I wanted to become a CEO. I didn't want to become a CEO just to be a CEO because I never was bothered by name, titles, and all the rest. But I really had such a commitment to our industry and to being someone that could really contribute something to the city I lived in. Well, within a year after I had that conversation with him, I became vice president. And I stayed there for 7 years. That's the other point I want to make. I stayed there for 7 years. I learned and grew only because if I was going to make the steps to become a CEO, honestly, I didn't come from the hotel industry. I came from banking. And so I really had to hone my skills and fine-tune my talents and also my knowledge about the industry in order to be a good leader. And Pat Tierney gave me that opportunity. And then I didn't go seek Mobile. Mobile sought out me. And so I beat, and I'm going to say this because I think it's really, I always love this part. I beat out 8 men, 1 woman, which was me. 8 white men and 1 woman, which was me. A black woman at that. And I didn't get the job because I was black. I got the job because I was qualified to get that job. And I was there for 7 years. And when I tell you, for our industry and for our community, I didn't just represent. I showed up, I spoke up, all right? And I can also say I showed out. And so I always had a solid gold team, not gold-plated, but solid gold team. I expected a lot from all of my staff. And I'm so thrilled because I take a look at Connie. I take a look at all of my colleagues now that are CEOs. And I think someone said something about lighting the way. Well, God allowed me to light the way. I am now retired. I'm 78 years old. And I don't tell my age because I want you to clap. I tell my age because it is my testimony. That we can keep going. I say I'm retired, but I'm not tired. By the grace of God. So on behalf of tourism and Black Meetings and Tourism, the Black America 250, and all of the organizations. Andy, you have always been so respectful, and so I've always been humbled because you will call me out in a heartbeat. And you know, I remember when I used to have a party when nobody came but me. Anybody know about those parties? You know? And what I realized when I became the CEO in Mobile, I had a party, but everybody came. And I don't know that I have ever gotten used to that, but I receive it. So today, I receive this award humbly. I'm not done yet. Okay, I'm not done yet. And I am still here for all the young people, any of you that need counsel or would like to talk with me. My phone is always ready for a conversation or Zoom or whatever, but I'm telling you, we got work to do. We have work to do. And when we do our next segment, we're going to talk about some of the work that we have to do. Because, see, we got people that want to lie about our history, want to erase our history, and want to deny our history. But we are a living history. We have to tell our stories to everyone. And not only our stories, because they got stories too, but their stories are our stories, and our stories are their stories. Thank you so much from my heart. Thank you.
Well, dear Danella, you know how there you are. Danella Ri'chard, sorry, is a dear friend who's contributed so much to this industry. She's out of the cruise industry, but now is a TV star that has a Traveling with Danella, and we wanted to give her an award to acknowledge the important impact she's had on the travel industry and especially for people of color. So please come.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. It is indeed an honor to stand here before all of you and accept this 250 Living Legend Award. Now, I think some of you who were here earlier, you had a chance to hear just a little bit about my story. So I've been in the industry for a little bit over 25 years, having the opportunity to work for some of the billion-dollar travel companies, Hilton Worldwide, Norwegian Cruise Line, and Carnival Corp. And my dream was to retire from the cruise industry. My hope was that I would be the first Black female president of a cruise brand. But in 2020, a thing called COVID-19 impacted and devastated the cruise industry to a point for a year and a half we had no passengers on ships worldwide. In that time, workforce reduction was imminent, and most companies laid off over 50% of their workforce in the cruise industry. I was one of them. I used that time to figure out during lockdown, y'all know when we were at home, couldn't go nowhere, couldn't even go to church, couldn't go to the movies, couldn't do anything, right? I started to think about, what do I want to do next? And the one thing that I knew for certain is that I had to continue to inspire people to travel the world. That travel is coming back strong. Borders are closed all around the world, from Asia to Africa, Caribbean, everywhere, borders were closed. But I had to do my part and use my voice. And so we created Traveling with Danella, first as a virtual television series. But as borders started to open, different cities and countries started to call and say, we got to get tourism back strong. Bring your camera crew, come. And all of a sudden, Miami called, and Virgin Islands called, Ecuador called, and oh my God, Europe called. I mean, all these different places started to call. And 3 years later, we are nationally syndicated on ABC, CBS, NBC in several different cities. We're globally streaming on Tubi, Go Traveler, many others. We're on Turkish Airways, Kuwait, and in 168 countries around the world on American Forces Network. And you see, when I tried to go back to that cruise line job, I had some people standing in the gap that said, not about to happen. And one of them was my life partner, Jerry Butler, who was like, keep on going, you got this. And then the other two were Mr. Don Wiggins and Al Haywood, who told me, keep on going, sis, because God got you. Now, some of you heard me say earlier, if you don't see it, create it, right? And you see, when there was no Black publication to show our faces and give us voice, they created it. Black Meetings in Tourism, Gloria and Saul. When there was no Black, and Andrew's like, cut it, but I'm gonna give him his props. When there was no organization for Black hotel owners and operators, he created it, okay? So when you don't see it, our president of her CVB, East Point, Georgia, she created it. So when you don't see it, create it. So thank you so much for this Living Legend Award. I am beyond humbled and thankful. So again, put it in quotes. If you don't see it, you guys create it. Thank you.
You can see that these ladies are living legends for sure. And for our last awardee, it's actually an organization. Because as we look over the past, in 2026, it will be 250 years. There's been nothing like this. If we hadn't, as Daniela said, created it, there wouldn't be anything like this. And I'm talking about the National Coalition of Black Meeting Professionals, formerly the National Coalition of Black Meeting Planners. Jason, would you start making your way to the podium, please? Here to accept the award on behalf of the National Coalition of Black Meeting Planners. Again, you can read about this organization, so I won't bore you with that. But the contributions that they've made and the doors that they've opened have made it possible for all of us to be who we are, to do what we do. Jason, we appreciate you and your organization so much.
Good afternoon. Andy has already told me that I have 30 seconds, so I'm going to make this quick. On behalf of our founders, Oliver Childs, Kermit Hall, Howard Mills, Sylvia Thomas, George Turner, and Lillian Vanderham, I appreciate this award and accept it on the behalf and on spirit of our founders. The members who are in the actual room, can you all come up? We can all take Andy. So any members of Coalition, please come up on the stage. Any members of Coalition, I see you, Zita, you are a member, come up on the stage. Please come on the stage. This is a round of applause. Come on. All right. I don't know where Connie went. This year we'll be celebrating our 40th anniversary in Atlanta, Georgia, December 6th to 9th. Greg, where are you at? You should be up here too on the stage. And we wanted to invite you, each of you, to come and celebrate with us. Again, Coalition was founded to elevate, educate, and innovate the industry as it relates to Black professionals, to make sure that we highlight that we have the talent, we have the initiative, and we have the opportunities. However, we had to make sure that we had the access. And that's why we were founded. And we are still here. As you hear the stories of each of these women whom have celebrated their professional careers, each of the men who have stood up and said they've had what they had to cherish and to persevere through, we are happy that they're standing on our shoulders. We are happy that they're standing on our founders' shoulders. And to ensure that this continues, we need you all to support it. We need you all to continue to support the organization, support Saul and Glow, and support Andy and all those who are here who are advocating on behalf of us. Because without us, we don't have anything. So we make sure we support each other collectively. Our power is in this room, the foundation that's been set, but we have to sustain it long term for the young people to get what they need from us and to keep the momentum going. So again, thank you on behalf of the National Coalition of Black Media Professionals, our chairman, Kevin Richardson, and our board. We appreciate you and look forward to seeing you in Atlanta December 6th through the 9th, because I'll make sure y'all there. I'm gonna call you and tell you that y'all said all this stuff for y'all was here, but y'all ain't come to the conference. Again, love you so much and thank you. All right.
This Let's give all the awardees another round of applause. This concludes the luncheon. We have workshops right next door. Later on this afternoon, we have the Prime Minister of the Bahamas speaking at 6 o'clock is the cocktail party, 7 o'clock, the Prime Minister speaks. All of the criminals in the room that have records, the Secret Service has asked me to keep you here so we can make sure you're not a threat. The next session is next door on A, B, and C. I'm sorry, A, B. As you exit the room, it's on your left-hand side. Thank you. A group shot. Can I get all the folks from the coalition who's just up here? All the awardees, I'm sorry. All the awardees, can you come up and take a quick group picture? All the awardees. All the awardees, the awardees. Okay. I need the awardees. Where's Jason? Brenda? Where's Brenda? Yep, upstairs.